Other winner on primary night was Jim Hagedorn. He's a Republican running for Congress in the 1st District in southern Minnesota. He faced a primary challenge from State Senator Carla Nelson, but won fairly easily on Tuesday. And Jim Hagedorn joins me now. Mr. Hagedorn, congratulations. Thanks for coming on.
Well, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be with you today.
What was it that won it for you so convincingly on Tuesday?
Well, I think that we stood out as far as the conservative message to the Republican voters, and we were on the ground working all 21 counties for some time now. This is my 3rd time in a row on the ballot, and we had the party's endorsement with 76% on the first ballot. We have a lot of friends down here, and I think they're just ready for us to win.
Mm-hmm. What are the big issues that you'll stress now heading into the general election campaign?
Well, essentially, the Democrat Party, including our opponent, Dan Feehan, they've moved so far to the left, I always say, kind of like Reagan said about Mondale, they've left America. And the race sets up as a clear contrast. It doesn't matter. Every Democrat, major Democrat in this state is running as Keith Ellison. They're all for open borders. They're all for socialized medicine. They're all for gun control, late-term abortion, things like that. And we're on the other side. We want to keep moving the country in the right direction. I tell people I'm prepared to partner with President Trump to get that done in Washington, and the voters will have a clear choice.
As you mentioned, you've run a couple of times before, and you came pretty close to winning in 2016. President Trump ran strong in the district. Do you think support for him in the district has stayed strong, or will it be more of a wind in your face instead of at your back this time around?
Well, I think people in southern Minnesota they like what they're seeing as far as the progress on the economy. They like what they're seeing as far as America regaining its standing around the world, rebuilding our military, getting rid of these onerous regulations like waters of the United States, having pro-U.S. energy policies to keep downward pressure on the cost of energy, and to protect our basic rights. One of the big issues in the last campaign was who was going to control the Supreme Court. Was Hillary Clinton going to stack the court with radicals to take away our basic liberties? Or was Donald Trump going to put strict constructionists on the court to make sure that we were protected? So on all those counts, southern Minnesotans are pretty much a vast majority on those issues. They want to see secure borders. They want to make sure that our economy is humming, and they see the difference between the two parties.
Having run a few times against Tim Walz, what are you telling Republicans to expect out of him as Jeff Johnson runs against him for governor?
Well, Tim Walz has abandoned all of his positions that he took to get reelected in southern Minnesota. He used to want the NRA's endorsement. Now he's for gun control. He's a very far left politician. He always has been. We kind of smoked him out in the last election. We came to 49.6% of the vote. Maybe that had a little bit to do with what he wanted to, move on and try for another race. But, Jeff Johnson's a great guy. He's worked very hard. He's a good conservative, but he's a common sense guy that wants to reform government. And I have every confidence in he and his team to get out here and meet the people and show the difference between, really a radical leftist and Walz and somebody who's going to be more common sense. And after these 8 years of the Dayton administration, with all the failures that the Democrats have piled up, the Obamacare, the MNsure problems, the things with the Somali daycare, the licensing tabs and all that, I think people are looking for competent leadership and a change at the top. So very confident that Jeff Johnson can get the job done.
On the other hand, the economy's doing pretty well. We saw in the news today Minnesota's unemployment rate, I think, an 18-year low and a full point below the federal unemployment rate.
Well, it doesn't have anything to do with the massive regulation coming out of St. Paul, the high tax policy here in Minnesota. Look at the bill, and we're talking a lot about the governor's race instead of mine, but look at that bill that all our fine Republican legislators put together to make sure that we could conform with the national tax cut. And now Minnesotans are in a tough spot. So we'll let them deal with that. But down here in southern Minnesota, I think people are looking to keep the country moving the right direction. And our opponent is a far-left liberal, way more liberal than even Walz was when he ran down here. So I don't think that's going to fly.
Will you debate Dan Feehan? We'd love to have you do it on the air here someday.
Oh, heck. He called for 3 debates. I said, that's a little modest. That's only 1 per month coming up. That's not enough. We should have 8 or 10. It's a big district of 21 counties. Let's get to all regions of the district. I would love to debate on your program or any of the others on your network. I'd be happy to do it.
All right, Jim Hagedorn, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate the chance.
That's Jim Hagedorn. He's the Republican candidate for Congress in Minnesota's 1st District. Maureen, how do you size that one up?
I think Jim Hagedorn has run with a clear message 3 times, and he's built on that support every time, and I don't see him moving off that. And he made a clear contrast today with his opponent, and frankly, he is running as a Trump Republican. And in that district, we're going to test this theory in Minnesota.